Hello everyone, my name is Jan Torres and I'm going to be talking to you about the process flow for our team. Our team decided to use the Scrum Agile development process to develop the Gnosis Wellness application. The team believed that this process model will allow us to be adaptive to change and to encourage rapid development. Our team decided to have our sprint lengths to be 1 week long. In retrospect, this allowed our team to tackle challenges in a dynamic and proactive manner. The team daily stand-ups were conducted through Slack on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These were done in this manner due to the nature of our remote team. At the end of each sprint, the team will hold retrospective meetings with our project sponsor. This allowed the team to receive immediate feedback about the progress that was done in the previous sprint from the sponsor himself. The team's workflow was composed of the following states: the to-do, in progress, blocked, testing, needs review, and done. The to-do and in-progress states are self-explanatory, but the block state was introduced to allow the developers to indicate other team members that they were blocked, and those other team members could also see if they could help the other team member to get out of that block state. If the team member got out of that block state, then the task will arrive, or like if the task was completed, the task will arrive to the testing phase in which the developer will test the task for errors or something like that. And after it was completed, it was submitted to the needs review state through a pull request, where other team members will review the code that was implemented, and after that, they will just merge it to the master branch and call it done. This workflow could remain constant through the development of the application and allowed the team to move at a steady pace, although some changes could have been done to improve it. One of the additions that our team will adopt if we started all over again is to use Jira's capabilities to require a team member to approve the branch before merging. This will minimize the introduction of accidental errors in the main pipeline. In other lessons learned, our team really learned the lesson of design first and develop later, because this will allow you to think about the things that you're developing and it will allow you to create a better architecture for everything. On another lesson learned through the project is the importance of proper elicitation of design and requirements, because if you don't do this right, it can change the whole scope of your project.
Hi, this slide is about design and architecture. I'll start by pointing out the chart on the right, which shows our design and architecture choices in the beginning and what we finished with. As you can see, we pretty much stuck with our choices and it really paid off for us. We were able to get into a nice flow and we completed all of the tasks we set out to do. Here's what worked well for us. We stuck with the Vue.js framework, which allowed us to quickly build the front end of the app. We were able to include state management and routing while keeping all of our front-end code organized with single-file components. Choosing Firebase as our preferred platform was a good choice for us because it gave us the tools to quickly get the app up and running. Things like authentication, hosting, and the database are built into Firebase and require little work to implement and manage. Switching to MyDidyMill was a great idea because it gave us the 3D avatar our sponsor was looking for. The avatar portion of the app is one of the most customizable parts and is also one of the main selling points. These are the changes to the original plan and the reason for those changes. We did change the avatar generation because we wanted to switch from a 2D to a 3D model based on a photo of yourself. We wanted an avatar that looked exactly like you, and eventually it will morph based on your exercise habits. Another change was to create an in-app custom way of messaging instead of using Firebase's cloud messaging system. We opted to avoid the overhead that came with it and decided to do in-app messaging for admins to message certain groups. If we started over, one thing we do differently is choose a SQL database such as MySQL. Our data relates well, and the relational database would have been the way to go. The NoSQL way meant grabbing everything and having to parse through instead of making pure SQL queries. Eventually, the app will be an API for information, and a SQL database will work better for this task.
We used a variety of tools in the creation of the Gnosis project. While each tool had pros and cons, the three most positive influences were Bitbucket, Slack, and Google Docs/Google Drive. Bitbucket is a Git-based version control and thus easily adoptable by the entire team, as we already had experience using Git and GitHub. So not a huge change there as far as learning curve. Slack was our group's main way of delivering stand-ups, which was pretty important due to the fact that we have members in 3 different time zones. So being able to not have formal meetings for each and every stand-up was pretty useful. With Google Drive, that served as our documentation repository, and Google Docs allowed for us to not just have them shared, but also to edit them together. So that helped with creating documentation quicker so we could all fill out small sections at each time. One of the changes we did make was we didn't end up using Dropbox as originally planned. We originally planned that as a place for the documentation to be held, and we ended up using Google Drive. We may end up using Dropbox, though, for sharing them with the sponsor at the end of the course. 2 improvements we could have is with Jira. That was supposed to be integrated with Bitbucket. That was a project management software, but we never actually integrated the 2. As well as using standardized editors for coding, due to the fact that some of our commits were extremely long in terms of lines committed, except for it was mostly just blank space / tabbing.
Teamwork was an absolutely crucial part of our success, and we found what ended up working and what ended up didn't working. Something that really sparked part of our team and wanting to work together was the ability to jump in and help if somebody needed it. A lot of examples surrounded that area. One example was when Jean initially started working on the challenge page and needed some help, and Jared jumped right in and helped him when he got done with his tasks. And another example would be working on the avatar page when Jason and I would jump back and forth working on it while working on something else. Another part of teamwork was using our agile methodology with our stand-ups. We ended up doing 3 stand-ups a week, which goes hand in hand with how the agile methodology worked, which had its pros and cons. The pros were being able to communicate a lot and be on the same page as to where everybody was, but we also would end up forgetting a lot to post because it was so often for us and we were busy with a lot of other things. And we also learned that communication, of course, is key to teamwork. This is where we found we had a lot of room to improve. Specifically when somebody had a lot of different work in another class, but still had tasks to complete on this project, but wouldn't necessarily communicate it, so those tasks would get put behind when somebody else could be working on them. And then the last thing was, it wasn't just us 5 working on this project. We did have our sponsor really working hard for us, and he had his mentors trying to help him, which therefore helped the team. And then our UX designer that he had really helped us not have to worry about many aesthetics. So we found that teamwork was very essential to where we came to end up today, and we will definitely be using that in the future more and more. So thank you.